Oh, no problem, man. If I was here, I would get you another one.
Oh, that's all right.
But yeah, it's my cousin. He lives in Orange County, Mission Viejo.
Yeah.
He's a police guy. Just became a sergeant, and I haven't seen him in a while. And his weekends is Wednesday and Thursday. Now that he's a sergeant,
Yeah, of course.
He doesn't have Saturdays and Sundays. He used to.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm coming down with Erica and his wife. Hey, we want to come to your house. You know, they go to dinner. Let's go have dinner. We're gonna spend.
Oh yeah, well you got to do that. You got to do that. You got to do
They
that.
rented a hotel by Petco Park, and they're like,
Oh, nice.
go out and have dinner.
Well, get over there.
And I'm like, yeah, he's not coming to my house till 6, so I got
Okay.
an hour to go get home and shower. But when he hung up, I'm like, man, it's on IPSSA night. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do? So I called Mark, and we were.
He said take off.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Well, I think John is still going to take some kind of notes.
So Paul, this is for you.
Okay, what I have here is this is what's called OBS. It's Open Broadcasting System software. It's free, and this is on the other side is YouTube. So I have I've got the stream going, and the stream's on. I title it.
Is it on right this second?
Yeah, it's on. This is live. I turned the sound down.
I was going to say, do you edit all the spaces?
No, I don't really edit anything because it's too hard. I can edit if I put it together like I do one for my church and I'll start it early. I will cut most of the front out to get when I have it running because you can resave it. But I'll usually let it go. But right now there's nobody watching. I don't expect anybody to be watching this right now. They're probably watching on replay.
So this is live on the internet now?
This is actually live. This is on the internet now. If I go like this,
Yes.
it'll take probably about 30 seconds for it to come over here.
Really?
Yeah, that's going, the up and down to the internet, and it depends on how fast it goes.
When somebody's logged on, can they hear?
Oh yeah, yeah.
But you said no microphone right now.
I turned the audio off. Yeah, because we were talking about vaccine or something, and see there it is. So it's probably about close to a minute. It depends on the speed of the internet and all
I'll be
that
on my
stuff.
best behavior.
Yeah. So are you going to be speaking? Are you going to be standing there, or is it here and there?
The three of us are going to wander.
I'd hope maybe you don't want. Oh, okay. You're going to wander to go work on something. But, if you could stay mostly up here, I'd appreciate it. But if you need to go over there, I can turn this thing and catch it. I'd rather keep it in one spot, but
You're a star. I know. And I know. Can you read me this? Can you see
Wait,
this?
I got a couple of
The date.
the date. Well, there's a couple of scratches on it. It says 2019, September. I don't know. I think that's September 5, but it's kind of scratched a little bit. Here, you want me to? Here, wait a minute. Here. I can catch you with my phone.
So I have to set aside for you my stars and rebuild it, okay?
No, it is. When you open that, you're not going to see. You're going to see.
There you go. What do you think that says? Huh?
It's okay, I just need the year, 2019. Thank you.
No problem.
My point is that.
That's always I get worried. It sounds. I've seen her already.
Are you ready to go?
I have no idea what time it is.
It's 50. It's about 5:05. 5:04. Okay, stand by for the Mark R. Lane seminar coming up shortly.
Do you know what time? Probably you got one hour?
Why don't you ask this guy how long the seminar will last? It's probably going to be about an hour and a half.
Okay.
It'd probably be appropriate if it's going to be an hour and a half to bring it out at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, Mark, yeah. How long are you going to go, Mark? How long is it going to be? About an hour and a half? Or? Okay. We're lining up the food, so the food ought to come out roughly when you're done, I think. And that gives people...
90 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, 6:30.
Okay.
Roughly, you know. If we get going earlier, we'll probably come see you.
I've never worked on that, to be honest with you. I do, it's just my own personal
I need 4 minutes. Pilot.
I don't care. Yeah, you're good.
You want to teach class?
I wasn't here that day.
Paul, do I get points for being here?
You get points? I don't think you need them, but you could get points.
I don't, I just want to
Claim
have on the
points.
record that I got 2 educational points and I don't even service points.
I think it said for members only, but
Mine just goes on.
Yeah, it's messy, but they're so good. It's a double bacon barbecue cheeseburger.
I took it out, so I'm just trying to put it back together so I can see.
Yeah, I'm not doing that tomorrow.
It's my personal one, though. I've already had somebody allocate it a couple times. It's from my pool. I figured that they really got a knowledge offer. And attempted to rebuild this twice, so I don't suggest a lot of these. It's just not what I see.
Got my text, I was on my way.
Negative. And what treatment are you? Do we have a cam?
I brought this in case somebody asks about my printer doesn't get out the details.
Yep, going over that. Thank you.
You about ready to start?
Yes, I'm just waiting on Ian. A little pilot error.
Okay, no problem. Del Mar racetrack. So they were pretty close to like really? Yeah. I can see the trucks all over the place. Even Stonebridge Station, 42 accounts.
Okay, can we have everybody's attention? And we'll get started with our seminar. Okay, so we've got Mark R. Lane here, we've got Ian Beats, and we have Christine, who most of you probably recognize from El Cajon Superior as well. So we'd like to get started with the seminar, and so if we could have your attention, and you guys can suspend your conversations for now, if you'd like, until we take a break before the meeting starts. If you've got a cell phone with you, if you could put it either on vibrate or turn it off, so it doesn't interrupt the important words that Mark has to say, that would be appreciated. If your phone does ring audibly, you get to buy a round of drinks for everybody in the room. Okay, Mark?
Awesome. Thank you very much. Everybody can hear okay, correct? Yes. Yes. So the last time I was here was February of 2019, and none of us saw what was headed towards us. And when Pentair said, hey, look, we're going to close things down for just a couple of weeks till we can get in front of this thing, little did we know that it would be September and we'd still be standing here talking about this darn thing. So it is an absolute delight to see that everybody is alive and healthy and working. You know, I have friends that, you know, they're destitute through all of this, and we are so lucky to be working through this nonsense. So to all of you, hats off, and I'm glad you're all healthy. So when Mark introduced my team here, he mentioned Christina. If you call her Christine, you owe her $5. So it's Christina.
Sorry.
I'll take care of it.
I got it.
Buy her a
And
drink instead.
you'll notice that she is, I'm so proud to be on the same team as her. Mark had mentioned Superior. Christina has a long, successful history at Pool Corp. Several months ago, we were lucky enough to pick her up, and she's got our logo, and she's just hit the ground running, and I know she's a familiar face to you. So thank you for being here. A couple of things I wanted to explain. There's two different Rebels on your table, except for yours. And there is something called the original Rebel. It came out in 2017, and it's a cleaner that you recognize. It's a two-wheel cleaner.
The most distinguishable part would be the tires. This is the original. That's how you can tell by looking at it from a distance. This is the second generation.
Thank you.
I'm going to continue doing that throughout the evening.
It's not addressed to Vanna, Mark.
Okay, so in 2018 to present day, there's something called Rebel version 2. You can tell by the much more aggressive tires. There's a couple of subtle differences that we're going to go over. When Ian starts to surgically open these things up, I don't know what you have, and I don't know what we're going to find, but at the end of the day, they should all work. And I think we're giving away like 74 cleaners today, something like that. So
It doesn't look like 70.
So the Rebel era explained. The Rebel era was through 2017, and it has a specific hose unique to version 1. And it's just funny that it looks like version 2's hose. It makes all the difference in the world. So if you're replacing a Rebel 1 head, you do have to replace the same hose, because the Rebel 2 hose has a totally different hose, and they don't work in each other's place. It's just dramatic, the change that it makes when you put the right hose on the right head. So Rebel 1 head is specific to Rebel 1. Rebel 2 version, Rebel 2 is specific to version 2.
One is longer than the other.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Ian, I believe the newer one is longer.
Or the newer one's longer. The original was shorter.
Yeah, so you won't be able to tell the difference by looking at them in terms of what they look like and feel like, but the Generation 2 leader hose is about 6 inches longer than the Generation 1. That's how you know the difference.
Okay, so another dramatic difference would be the tires. So there's a plaster in the room, so I'm going to be very, very careful here. Rebel 1 tires, they somewhat struggled with these 1-foot tall main drain covers that Plaster seemed to install in San Diego. So we sold something called the Big Hump tire. Unfortunately, the Big Hump tire still didn't get over some of these really high drains. So the Rebel 2 has a significantly lifted tire on it to get over those drains. And I don't get the calls that I used to get about, hey, it's stuck on the drain, that kind of stuff. So they seem to have really improved. Another difference in the first version, which we'll see tonight, versus the modern version, is the first version did not have bearings. It had plastic races. Version 2 has bearings. Okay, made a dramatic difference. Moves a little bit smoother, moves a little bit quieter, a little less RPM. Did you have a question?
Can you put the newer tires on the older Rebel?
Is that a $5 question or a $100 question? What is that? Is it Hundo? Oh. Okay, so the question was, can I put Rebel
Kenny,
2?
if you open your mouth again, you risk losing that, so just be careful.
So if you ask Pentair, the answer is no. If you ask anybody that's dissected these for any amount of time, the answer is yes. Works like a champ, okay? So these tires just kind of make that version 1 perform just a little bit nicer. Okay, very good question.
Thank you. Thank you.
You bet.
Is that component replaceable? If it wears down and gets loose?
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Okay. Good question, but not worth anything. All right. So here's some quick facts about Rebel. Legacy pre-2018, all the way back in 2017, we sold a long pull cam, which means it would turn far less. So it would climb out of long or very deep pools. That was an option. We found that very few percentage needed those. Okay. We also offered the Big Hump tires that I was telling you about. Post 2018, long pull cam, notice it is a different part number, does the same job. It just causes the device to turn less frequent so it can climb out of the deep end. Big Hump tires, and these suckers are big. These are real nice little lift kits. Just not getting the complaints that I used to get. What's very important here is released about a year ago are the rebuild kits that you see. And they are, number 1, these are yours. Number 2, they're specific to version 1 or version 2. There's some subtle differences that Ian will go over. And look at the price on these things. That whole rebuild kit's $83. You know, a couple dollars higher or lower. Includes the tires, and the tires are where the meat and potatoes are.
Is that on Amazon?
I'm sorry?
Is that on Amazon?
It's not on Amazon. You are risking an awful lot.
I was just on Amazon. I see your whole segment with categories and everything. I was like,
That wouldn't be a professional Pentair page. We'll have the discussion offline.
All right.
John.
On the cams, do the new cams have more as opposed to the old one that had the three as opposed to the 5 cam?
It's the space,
The
but
distance, so it's a different length?
that's correct.
Okay.
So it just sits there and it
You
doesn't.
can't say this one's 5, this one's 3 and look at it.
Negative.
Okay.
Okay, good question. Worthless though.
I wouldn't take your money anyway.
She's the banker over here, so you gotta ask her. All right, so this is what the tune-up kits look like. And we're gonna open those and beat them up. Those are the part numbers. They're in wholesalers. Let's talk about some quick cash facts before we open these things up. To the service person on Pentair's incentive program, there's a $70 rebate on each unit. So if you sell 10 cleaners, what do you got there? You got $700 extra in your account. The consumer, either through online submission or mail-in, gets a C note. They get a $100 rebate. So there's a $170 waiting in that cleaner in rebates. Okay. Were you guys aware of that?
No.
Okay. Who's your sales rep? It's Christina, right? Okay. All right. Okay. So this is something very near and dear to my heart. I'm already kind of goosing up about it.
Yep.
If you walk into a truck or to a pool and there is a missing back lock, I would beg you to just stop what you're doing, go back to your truck and get one and install it. Install it for free. If you've ever seen what has happened when a back lock is missing, and we're not going there tonight, but I have, okay, it'll change your life. So if you see one's missing, please drop what you're doing. I know they're $10, $12.
No, they're a little more.
About $20.
They come with every unit, I mean.
They do come with every
rep.
But if you walk into a backyard and it's missing, I mean, much like a drain cover, you would never leave a pool with a drain cover that's missing, ever.
Usually what you'll find is the back lock's intact, but the flap is broken off because they try to open it with a screwdriver when the pump was on and they just snap it in half.
Okay,
Correct.
very good. Okay, here's some really important stuff. Vacuum gauge. We don't put that $20 item in there for no reason. We'd rather keep the $20 to ourselves. But if you'll use this best friend, I promise you your Rebel will behave. And it's very critical in the variable speed environment, which you are now forced to live in, by the way. But we'll get into that during the meeting. Use it. I don't care whose brand it is. If it's in any brand cleaner, please use their gauge. Don't guess. Don't do what you're used to doing. Invest 2 minutes, set this up correctly, and this thing will perform. Any brand cleaner will perform if it's set up correctly. So, the vacuum gauge, the way that you want to adjust that to achieve 16 to 18 RPM on that wheel, okay, on that tire, is you can adjust the RPM or GPM on your variable speed. You can adjust your 3-way valve at the pump suction. You can adjust the Pentair back mate that's in the skimmer in case you're in an older pool, or all of the above. So our goal is to keep that pump running very low, to follow the affinity law, and still get this number of revolutions at the lowest RPM possible.
Where do you place that gauge?
Very good question. So the gauge goes, your preference, I want to know your preference. I know where my preference goes. Well, how do you do this?
We're going to put it to the end of the hose.
The far end or the immediate end? Because I do the immediate end because I can't swim.
Yeah, well, probably either way. It's not really going to restrict it that
Mark?
much.
I put it at the end of the hose that
The farthest end.
the cleaner attaches to, because every pool has a different amount of hoses that you can use.
Okay, so y'all catch that? The gauge is going to go at the farthest point of the hose.
Is there that big of a difference?
Yes.
Now, I've been doing this wrong for a long time, man. I'm right there by the deck and I just pull it off.
That's what I do.
Jeez. I could be lazy.
You're probably close, but I mean, because some pools take the entire hose kit, some pools take 5 hose sections. So I use it at the end of the hose because I've got various lengths of hose, and the longer the hose, the more restriction there
I
is.
think you
It's
gotta
going to be more accurate.
Yeah.
I think you're right, man.
John.
I'll be like you.
Thank you. John?
The other thing is you might want to take into consideration is when the filter was cleaned.
Correct.
Separate.
Lots of variables is the point. Maybe this is a moment where I can just take a minute.
Please.
Okay. This might be helpful for you when you're speaking to your homeowner about the cleaner and the speed. And what I use is miles per hour as my analogy. And I'll wait for you to finish. I'll use miles per hour as the analogy when I'm talking to a homeowner. They relate to that better. And I'll say that all automatic suction cleaners are designed to run at 20 miles per hour. But everybody likes to see them running at 80 or 100 miles per hour because they think it's going to do the job faster or more efficiently. And then I'll give the analogy, you wouldn't take your Hoover vacuum and vacuum the rug by moving the vacuum back and forth super fast. The vacuum would never get a chance to pick anything up. It's the same concept with the cleaner. If it's running around at 80 miles per hour, when it's designed to run at 20 miles per hour, it's defeating the purpose, and you're wearing out all of the internal parts much faster. You'll be buying rebuild kits much sooner if it's running at 80 miles per hour versus the 20 miles per hour that it's designed to run at. And then I'll remind them you have to be patient. The cleaner needs to run every day for 7 days before you make judgments on whether it's reaching all points of the pool. All suction side random cleaners are not meant to clean the entire pool in 1 day. They need to run every day for 7 days, and then you make adjustments to it if it's not getting to all points of the pool. Okay?
Very good. Great wisdom. Okay, if you'll live in that little window, you'll be very happy with the performance of this clean. Okay. All right, we're looking for 13 to 16 RPM on that bad boy. You'll be very happy. All right, so my dear friend Ian has a successful full service company in East County, but he always seems to be at the beach, and I don't quite understand that. But anyway, we're going to open these things. It's his gig from now on. He knows what he's doing. I'm here to learn. If you have any questions, Christina and I will be walking around to kind of, infiltrate and kind of get the information filtered to Ian. So you're up, Daddy-O.
I'm doing the clicking.
Right. You have to remember the film strip. You have no idea what a film strip is, do you?
Slide carousel.
Ding.
Hey, use that in our class for years.
How will you communicate to Christina that it's time to change that?
I'll let her know. Okay. Okay, so let's get started here. So you got your rebel cleaners? Everybody sharing one or?
People that have
Okay, let's pull the cover off these things, okay?
So we're going to start, let's try not to get ahead and we'll go one step at a time. So that way we don't have a lot of problems. So it says to use your thumb, but I think you're probably using your index fingers easier.
Hey guys and girls, let's keep the talk down so you can hear, everybody can hear Ian. Let's follow his directions, please. I will do that if I have to.
Say Ian.
You got to pull out. Yes, sir.
I think we'd like to have you use the mic. Let's do that.
Please use the mic.
So you have to pull out on the clip. Pull it out. Pull it out. And then come down. So you have trouble with that? Sounds like yeah, like a bowling ball. Pull it up. Get up. Okay, we got everyone got this open.
Okay, so once we have the cover top removed, this swivel housing will just lift right off.
So I have to satisfy this. So that's.
Remove the swivel housing. There you
Ian,
Does everyone have the swivel housing removed? Yes.
let's point out that sometimes the float comes with the lid, sometimes it doesn't,
Okay.
and that it can be lost, where you take it off and it falls off and you don't notice it. So that needs to be pointed out to everybody.
Okay.
Sometimes it comes with it, sometimes it stays.
I think that's more with the original version.
But don't lose it.
The original version, yeah. So on some of them, when you take it off, the top, you're gonna notice that the float inside stays in the lid.
Sometimes it
On the
stays in the
original
lid,
version.
sometimes it doesn't. The white float, don't lose it. If it falls out,
Right.
don't forget to
That's
put
the
it back in.
original version.
It serves a very important part. So,
Right. But on the other ones, it stays in the cleaners instead.
yeah.
This is the original one.
Point is, if it does happen to come off, then don't lose it.
Okay, so now we're gonna remove the wheels. So we'll stand the cleaner up on its end with the 3/16 Allen wrench. It doesn't matter which wheel first. You got it broken already over here? I'll run in the bathroom, I'll be right back.
This is actually my loan that I take, put in, we're not gonna do this here. Yeah.
Okay, so once you've taken one wheel off, you might find it easier to stand the other end and hang it over the table. So that you drive, it'll sit flat, drive angle over. And then you take the other wheel off as well.
You want both wheels off?
Yes, both of them.
What if you don't have the table while you're doing it?
Well, probably got a deck or a race spa maybe. Take it out in the truck. Put the computer to work too, huh?
I like these cleaners. How you doing? Okay, great.
So recovering from my party the other day.
Yeah, I'll bet. Sounds like fun.
And last night, my daughter, she gets involved in this thing called the 48-hour film festival.
Oh, wow.
So she's writing a short film. So we had to go watch this thing at 9 o'clock last night.
Oh, I see.
Are you gonna take the wheels
Well,
off?
we get up to Claremont, where we thought it was, and it turned out it was at the same theater, but in Mesa. So we drive over there, about 80 miles an hour.
Right.
Got home about midnight. So we couldn't sleep.
So you're a little tired.
Yeah. Carlos is in the way.
Right. They're still removing wheels. Kenny, help them out, please. It's gonna take 10 hours, it's still only 2 points.
Okay, everybody in this state?
Okay. Now we're gonna remove
No, we're not.
the the left drive kit from the Rebel. You want to be careful as you slide it out. It is spring loaded. The springs will shoot out. Yeah.
Do I get one?
The left drive.
Yeah, go sit over there. I'm
Pictures
trying
up
to.
on the projector there. Slowly slide it out. Springs will shoot out.
There's sparkle all over this.
I don't know. It must have been a nice party then.
What's that? Goes right into the hole. No, at the end of the hole. That way you know what you have, what your flow is going to be at. Right, right. You're going to get the left drive out. Left drive in. Yeah. How's it?
Good, because I have a complaint about this vacuum.
Take it out slowly, spring loaded.
Thank you.
Okay, has everybody got the left drive out?
Yeah, there is a design flaw in this vacuum.
All right, so now, you're going to need to use your flat screwdriver.
Where's the...
And you're going to loosen the screw that's holding in the turbine and cam assembly. You only need to turn the screw about one full time around. You don't need to take the screw all the way out. Just loosen it.
This is the Phillips screw?
Flat screws.
This is the Phillips screw
The
here?
one screw we have for the turbine. Yeah.
So even though it's a Phillips screw, you're using a flathead, correct?
Yeah.
Just so people aren't looking for a flathead screw, that's all.
This is your turbine, correct?
Yeah, so one turn around should be good enough.
Okay.
Yes, the turbine and cam, turbine and your cam. Okay, you're ready to do this by sleep.
It's like Marine Corps rifle tear down.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Private Gump, you can tear down. How did you tear that down so fast? You're going to be a general.
So this is where we're using the wire to push the, hopefully. Okay, so you loosen the
Also love the easy opening can. Didn't know I need to bring my glasses in for this. Oh.
Correct. Sorry, the slide is the old version, and the new version, there's actually two screws that's holding in. There's two screws on the new version. Right, so we need to loosen both of them, just one turn.
Is that what we're doing? Removing the left drive assembly?
You remove the left drive assembly, then you loosen up the one screw. If you have, well, you have two screws, which is the other newer one. And this shaft slides out, which then allows all of these gears to come out.
Is that what you do next?
Yeah. I'm going to make life. Will you slide that wire back through this? That wire that's laying down there? The wire? Right here. Right by my feet. Slide it right through the shaft.
Slide that way.
Right through here. Right through the middle. Yeah. Yeah, it's because it's moved up. That'll work. Keep going.
It's gone.
Thank you. That way it doesn't fall apart. Thanks.
Or you do that wire after you pull it out?
I just did it just so the gears didn't go everywhere.
That's
you
what
use the wire to push the shaft up. You got to get both wheels out first.
Correct. We're going to slide out the...
So now you lift that out and run that wire through it?
Yeah, first you loosen up the screw. It won't come out until you loosen the screw.
These guys?
You loosen this one right here because you're going to take this shaft out that holds all of this in place. And you only have to loosen it out with a flathead screwdriver.
Slide the rod out.
Even though it's a Phillips?
About one full turn is all. You don't have to take the screw all the way out.
Flathead, huh?
Yep.
Just one turn?
That should be enough. You can go a little bit more if you want. That's good. Then take your wire and slide it through here to push the shaft.
Okay. Go ahead and slide the rod all the way out.
What I did was, now that you slide the shaft all the way out,
No, we're doing it. Once you tear it down,
take your wire out. And then just so you don't have them fall all over the place, just lift this out. And then what I did was I had to run the wire out. So, just do this. Okay. And then we'll just pull this out, and then just run your wire through there. I'll light them up as you do. Just so they're not falling all over. So now that's what you just took out. There's your shaft.
Is that where everybody's at right now?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he wants you to remove the three cam gears.
Yeah, so we take the turbine and the cam. Okay, so now we're going to remove the three cam gears. So we're going to loosen the set screw. And then take this out. Yes, sir.
Go ahead and use it. The right side or left side of the cam? That won't work.
Okay. So on the original version, there is no screw to loosen.
Correct.
But on the newer version, there is a screw to loosen. You got the old one. Yeah, can you put it through?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Christina? Do you push the do we want to push the shaft out of this one or no? And if we do, which direction do you push it out? Okay. This one just comes off of here. That one doesn't come.
Yeah, no, I think we just took these off. This one might be the next slide though. Let's see.
It's showing that you push from the inside. It doesn't seem to want to budge.
Yeah, pretty tight.
Yeah.
Is that little wire?
Yeah, I do, but
it's awfully strong. It's really jammed in there.
It's really jammed in there. But it is. You do push from the inside out, I think.
This is my first time.
I'm thinking that this one releases that.
Yeah, it doesn't want to budge.
things out, Mark? I know how to hear things out.
I can't get this one out.
You go like, use this.
Oh. With the tip on there, or?
Oh, no, you gotta get that one.
I couldn't get it to budge.
Kind of a straight angle.
Yeah.
That's how I got mine.
It doesn't want to budge. Oh, maybe it didn't.
Or just screwdriver thinner. I think we got it.
You don't want to do a vacuum?
That's where you use a nail.
I should be watching your stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't want to
You
move.
should be showing me your stuff now. I shouldn't worry about this.
You can hear people banging on it.
I got lucky. I got all my guys.
That's it. I'm
I
fine.
tried it with this here.
I'm not buying anything.
I mean,
I'm just buying whatever comes across the line. You know, what do you got today? That's what I'm buying.
it seems like it's coming out.
I used to do that, and I bought all these Zodiac vacuums, and they all failed, like the X2 or whatever that was, and then that crazy belted vacuum that gets stuck on tiny leaves. Did that work, Mark?
No.
You know, these are good bags.
Oh yeah. I'd say
That's a long time.
they're the best wheeled vac I think it's out there.
Oh yeah, I have to say I think they are. Yeah.
Excuse me for me. This is the form.
What?
Well, that's the form with the current page. I sent an email to strip this part out. If we were to donate section, there's just that.
That's what comes up?
So yeah, so we could send this link.
Okay, now I want to see.
You could email that link.
I want to see you take Mark's apart. When they're stuck.
You could email
I can't get this portion.
He's got a smaller.
They've been sitting around.
See, he's got a smaller one.
two different links on the same email, or you could just send this.
This is actually my demo.
Email this
Here's what I was asking you to get rid of this and this on
You can get rid of that, but
Lots of
I
bags.
probably could get rid of all that and have this and this.
Well, actually, everything from this chapter quarter down is good.
Some of my customers.
I can read the page and just get rid of this whole column, get rid of all this, just widen this out,
I even
put no background on it, you know, whatever.
I can
It's not a problem, I want to do it how it's set. I will try to advertise on board of the.
This is a steel original. Okay, so what else do you want to do?
Are we through this slide?
We could technically put that down.
We're having trouble getting them out. We're having trouble getting the gears out.
These guys are
the real back that's in the water.
Technically.
It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to get it out.
Okay.
Well, yeah, or maybe like a different tab that opens up another
You're not
page.
getting it out?
Okay, is that yours, Mark?
Yeah, this is my actual
Okay.
one that I use for demo.
And are you dissecting it?
He's encouraging me.
I was happy as hell when the one don't work.
He's encouraging me to try to get
This
this
is
out.
what I'm learning, is when you can't get it.
I agree, when it's broken. That's how I learned. You bet.
But the left gear drive is really what
Rusted with
The left gear drive is the most common thing that has to be replaced.
Do these ever go bad?
I've never had to replace that.
You're a smart guy.
I've actually done this once before.
If I spent time on these, I would never be able to help you with it.
Here's what I was complaining about. This gear moves.
Is this old or new? You have a
This
new.
is new.
Okay.
And it can disengage from this guy here and thus kind of just maybe always go in circles or something. There doesn't seem to be anything that holds this gear back in the cubby holder. It seems to be able to slide out.
Not once you get it all together. Once the lid goes on, it's the lid that will hold it in
Is
place.
it a lid somehow holding it in there?
Yes, because if it's not seated all the way, the lid won't go on. So
Oh, this little bracket right here holds it in place, huh?
correct.
Oh, okay. They are pretty clever.
I'm making progress.
You're naming it?
German. time. You should be able to pull it off.
But you just damaged your rear bendings.
I mean, no, not yet.
My video's bouncing.
Yeah, the left gear drive only wears out.
Right.
Oh, and these wheels. These gears inside.
There it goes. Wasn't gone that far. It's coming out now. See, now I'm happy.
I know, I can see it. I can see it in your
Leave
face.
that part in there.
What's that?
Ian.
Yeah, start reassembly now.
Ian.
Yes, sir.
I got it.
Is Craig Klein's no longer with Thornburg?
I don't think so. Is Jasco or something?
Because I have Craig Klein's. I forgot who was before Craig, but who's the guy you have on the website? I don't know who that is.
I got it.
Are we supposed to put it back together now?
Yes, that's what we're doing, reassembly.
So I was wrong. Mark actually showed me this little clip holds.
Okay, is everybody ready to reassemble?
That's how we learn.
A few more minutes.
I'm humbled again.
That doesn't touch any of us. Obviously, these gears touch that.
Here's what I show on their website. Southern California, Joel Jasco. Oh, wait a second. Craig Klein's. You know about Craig Klein's?
That's who
He's showing San Diego and Orange County, and Joel Jasco is Southern California Desert Inland Empire. I guess I've got to check. Somebody's got to check this.
Okay, so let's move on with reassembly. Got all
Wow, you getting the back
Correct.
tape all
We'll get to
right?
that upon reassembly.
I'm watching yours, Mark.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, that's back together.
Okay, so we're gonna reinsert the right drive, shaft and bearings.
Now,
There's 3 on it?
I think he walked off with some of my
We're
parts.
gonna reinsert the right drive shaft back in. You already, our number 2 is
Yeah,
out.
he did.
Sorry, back in.
Where did he set it? Ian?
Just 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. You walked off with my part.
Yes, sir. That's how it's changing here. Some of the wheel spins forward. More potentially it's going forward. Goes back. It's now going backwards. This gear's always going. It's always spinning forward.
That guy goes in there.
So engage. It's going in one direction. Engage. Goes in another direction.
Hey, are we putting the left drive in or are we gonna wait?
Just 1 second there.
Kenny, zip it.
He wants only $5.
We're starting to reassemble, yeah. And we're starting by reinserting the right drive shaft and bearings.
When you took this out, you walked off with it, I think. Oh, there it is. Thanks. Wait, which one goes, which way?
Long side.
Long side out. Okay, very good, thank you.
When you're reinserting the right drive shaft, the long side is going to go out.
Okay,
All right.
here you must go in there.
Oh, it was not easy.
They need some lube.
Well, once it got it out, then it went back in easy. Talking about these guys. Once it got it out, then it went back in. Mine actually has some
So,
Oh, we're not there yet. Sorry.
might be Craig Klein's.
It might be, but for some reason I had this other guy and I'm not sure why. I think Craig had maybe left when he was back.
Craig Pines, I thought, took over for
Moving on,
someone
moving
else.
on.
It was about a year.
Mark's gonna go.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna now reinstall the left drive, which is the long drive shaft with the clutch.
That there clutch. Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, God almighty.
Okay, so we did the right drive. Okay, now we're to the left drive.
Left drive, Nick, do the rap drive. Make a song out of this. Make it easier. I asked John MacArthur if he would eventually update the forms he uses to online. What do you have these? What do they call these? The things the fillable, are they PDFs? Jot forms.
I got like 2 accounts. I got mine and my wife's, and mine's full up. I gotta make sure mine.
What's a PDF? Is that also the same kind of thing?
Basically, that's conversion of there are fill-in PDFs, but mostly they're just conversion of almost any document to a standard format. Portable document format is what's called.
So I don't know if he's going to ignore me or he might eventually get back to you.
He's not a big computer guy, but
Yeah. I don't want you to be bogged down until, you got a lot on your plate.
Make sure the 2 springs are in place when you're installing the drive shaft. You got it.
You should be able to do this blindfolded.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and reinstall the cam gears. As you'll notice, you have 3 small stainless steel shafts. 2 are exactly the same size, 1 smaller. So we're going to use the shortest of the 3 to reinstall the cam gears. The cam gears are the 3 gears.
Well, you guys already did that.
Yep.
Well, I didn't do it. I'll cross that bridge. These are nice vacuums.
I've got some tools. Don't forget, and I forgot, I just remembered, get that flathead screwdriver and secure that screw back down.
That's why I wasn't going back. Very good. They made it easy to open up, which is nice. Instead of going to the truck or pulling a screwdriver out. I don't know if they're going to be happy about our ruined tablecloth. And a lousy what else? What else can you show me
We're
here?
going to reinsert the drive gear to the shoulder.
So what?
I didn't do any more.
So what do you think about that whole WordPress thing?
I haven't had a chance to look at it. I will look at it.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at
The only one that doesn't work. Yeah, I got one that's so old.
We're going to reinstall the turbine and cam gears.
I just pulled this one up. It's called a website builder. It's $60. How it all works. There's probably like hundreds of these out there. A lot of times they'll be involved in
And it's a WordPress thing?
Yeah, probably. And they also have commerce, which is a commerce site, which we don't have. Templates,
Okay, so does everyone reinstall the turbine and cam gears?
Are you DVRing Jeopardy?
Oh, my wife is.
Now reattach the mobile housing.
Because, you know, the guest house, well, the two
Where there are two differences.
How come you're not on the
between
show?
the old and the
Have
new
you been
version.
on the show?
stage fright.
You? Come on.
Get all the answers right.
Make us proud, dude.
What's Jeopardy?
He's a Jeopardy. He loves Jeopardy. Are they giving us these vacuums?
I don't know about these price tests. They're donating like this for
How many people have their unit put all the way back together? Raise your hand if you've got the lid on and everything. Okay, so far so
You want to be able to run a shaft from here.
We're second place, so they got.
Okay, Ian, have we done this slide?
Yeah.
Are they okay with
It's back together.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't reattached your wheels, go ahead and do that now.
Yeah.
Eventually you get
Just a reminder, if you put your cleaner back together, make sure that you tighten that screw. Make sure that you tighten those down before you put the lid on. So if you forgot to do that, snug those screws down. Those locking screws. Easy to forget to do that.
Ian's going to do a question and answer. Okay, guys, so we got through that, right? Covers are back on, wheels are back on, everything's ready, selection parts, right? Any injuries? So Ian is available for questions.
That's fine. Do we have any questions on the differences between the two? Any questions on what you guys are running into in the field? Any questions what they have on tap at the bar? Yes. Regular hoses are the same, just the leader hoses are different.
Repeat the question. Repeat the question, please.
The question was if the regular hoses for the cleaner were different from the first version to the second version. They're exactly the same, just the leader hose, just the last hose that's plugging into the cleaner, the leader hose, the first hose. On the V2 version, the float is going to go 25 inches above, which is maybe a hand's width onto the first full-size hose. That is the second version. First version's probably similar, not exactly sure where that one is. But it goes farther up on the first hose because the leader hose is so much shorter. So it's probably about the same spot. Yes. So it's usually about a third of the way up.
If the pool is shallow, in a situation where they might get a hose, I've used up to 4 floats on those. On the Hayward one, I had used 4. Here I have used 2 floats on those.
Repeat that question.
I have used more than 1 float on that cleaner to keep it upright. Due to the customers might let it sit wrong, they set it on the deck, but I have found that has helped significantly keep it right.
To keep it upright, the float. Gotta go to the clips on the hose.
How many floats on this one?
One.
There's one.
There's 1, but I have put 2. And on your competition, I've used 4.
This goes back to what I was mentioning earlier when you're speaking to the homeowner and talking about the speed of the cleaner and how it works and how they need to be patient, that the cleaner's not going to do the pool in one day. This is also when I take the opportunity to demonstrate how to put the cleaner in. So I'll take the cleaner out, empty the hose, it's full of air. I'll demonstrate how to easily fill the hose up, connect it to the wall with the wall fitting. And then I'll also mention you can take this out anytime you'd like, but make sure you lay the hose perfectly straight. And then I'll demonstrate. I'll say, I have a lot of clients who will follow my instructions to the T, except they'll set the cleaner upright. And then the hose goes like this, and then the hose is straight. Then they think they did it perfectly, and now we've got memory in the leader hose. Of all of the hoses we don't want to have any memory in, it's the leader hose, of course. So I'll even demonstrate. I'll show them, please, make sure you lay it straight so that there's no bends in the hose whatsoever. And then I'll explain that if you roll it up like you roll up your garden hose, it's going to put memory in the hose, and then when you put the cleaner back in the pool, it's going to want to roll itself up, and that inhibits it from doing its work.
And when you tell them this 10 times and they still do it, what do you say then?
I get a different client.
The other thing we found with the cleaner not to be named, most of the time it's the wife who's taking the cleaner out because the kids are swimming. If she'll just take the hose, leave it hooked up, put it up on the deck, run it along the deck, leave the head in the water.
Correct.
And let them swim.
And I demonstrate that as well. And that's
And then when
another,
she's done, just kick it back in.
that's another option, just kick it back in, exactly right. And also I'll go over all of those scenarios with the homeowner so that they are comfortable with what they've purchased and they understand that it's not cumbersome to work with. So if it's just one person swimming, I'll do exactly what John just suggested, and I'll demonstrate it. I'll leave it connected, pump is running, the cleaner's moving, I'll get the hose up on the deck and let it just dangle on the other end. And re-emphasize to them, don't lift the cleaner out of the pool while it's running, it's going to suck all the air. And I'll even bring it up to the surface where it starts to actually suck a little air, and they kind of get surprised by that, but it will stick in their memory if you do little things like that, and then you don't have an issue where you show up and the cleaner is sitting up on the deck, and you can hear the pump running dry, but when you get out of the truck, when you're still out on the street, and that happens. People just don't understand. They don't understand the concept of what's going on.
I mean, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What's going on when my rebel cleaner just going around in circles and it's not doing the whole pool?
Left drive shaft kit.
So most likely that's going to be a left drive shaft that has failed, started to wear down. So you just need to replace the left drive shaft. So you just take up the one wheel, slide it out with the springs, and replace it. It should take you 5 minutes. Be back in business.
And don't forget, if your cleaner is spending all the time in the deep end and not getting its way up into some of the larger pools into the shallow end, the long drive kit is an easy replacement, and that will usually cure the problem. The cleaner will find its way out of the deep end.
What is it?
It's called a long run cam kit, and it's basically that cam that that presses against the left drive kit. It just has it has a longer run time in terms of going straight before it taught.
So if you have like a lap pool, something long,
yes,
something like that.
I've had to use these a few times.
Are these the same wheels for a fiberglass pool?
Yes.
What about the vinyl liner?
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
So I noticed when I replaced the left drive kit, I also had to replace the wheel because those gears, even though they don't look bad, it has to be slightly worn and won't grip that shaft.
Correct. It is recommended to replace the wheel when you replace the left drive shaft. So, or you can rotate the wheels. Sometimes that'll work. You can't get your hands on a new wheel. You can try that.
Is there a way that Pentair could make that drive shaft on that left drive made out of metal or something so it doesn't wear down and lasts longer?
Then it ends up wearing the wheel gears down. So
Wheel down?
yeah, that has been discussed, and we'll stay with what we've got. And if you haven't seen the big hump tires, this one has the big hump tire on, and it did solve the issue of main drain covers getting stuck on that. That did work for me on a couple of occasions.
Do we get just those tires, or do you have to get the whole wheel?
Tires.
Tires can be replaced.
Tires,
right?
yeah.
So when the tread wears down, there's actually tread marks on the new version. There's tread marks on it, so when it wears down, you'll want to replace the tires. Any other questions? Anybody but Mr. Childs? We can take the $100 back.
Okay, so the parts and the parts kits, you guys take them home, get them out of here, share them, eBay, whatever you want to do. If you could leave the heads behind, that'd be great. So
How about the tools?
take the tools home too, please. Very good. Okay. Ian, thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Mark, you still have 20 minutes if you want to talk about something else. You want to do any other stuff?
Attention everybody, the food is here. We've got boxed lunches, kind of classify as a dinner.